The realm of light had not seen peace in 100 years. The war had begun long before Elira was born, before her father became king, before the towers of Liris were reduced to ash, before the skies wept fire. Children grew up with swords instead of lullabies. Elira was no different. At 20, she was already a general, not because of privilege, but because of the fire in her blood. She led her armies not from behind stone walls, but on horseback, blade drawn, face bare beneath the twin moons. She had killed. She had wept. And somewhere along the way, she had forgotten how to dream. Until the night she met him. It happened in the dead forests near the border, the cursed land known as the Grayscale. Elira had gone ahead of her men to scout the terrain, trusting only her instincts and the wind to guide her. She saw movement, a flicker in the trees. A shadow. She drew her blade. But he was faster. Before she could blink, he was behind her. Steel against her throat, his breath like winter on her neck. "Tell me, Lightborn," the voice rasped, low and broken, "do you bleed like the rest of us?" She should have struck. Screamed. Called down fire. Instead, her heart betrayed her, pounding not from fear, but something else. Something ancient. She turned slowly, eyes meeting his. And in that moment, the world fell away. His name was Kael. He did not tell her. He didn't need to. Elira felt it, in the way the shadows clung to him, the way his eyes, silver like a wolf's, never blinked. In the realm of light, stories were whispered of assassins from the Shadowlands, wraiths in human skin, trained from birth to hunt, to kill, to vanish. Kael was one of them. And yet, he hesitated. His blade, still pressed against her throat, did not move. His fingers trembled, barely, but enough. A breath passed between them, sharp and hot. Then another. Her sword clattered to the ground. "I should kill you," he murmured. "You won't," she whispered. She wasn't sure why she said it. Only that it was true. He stepped back, releasing her. And in that moment, Elira did something no commander of the realm of light should ever do. She spared a creature of the dark. They met again, not by chance, but by choice. At first, it was in silence. Stolen nights under dead trees, where the fog dulled the scent of blood and the stars dared not shine. They didn't speak names. Only questions. "Why do you fight?" he asked her once. "For my people," she answered. "To end this war." Kael laughed, bitter. "So you destroy what you wish to save?" She didn't reply. Another night, she asked, "Why do you kill?" His eyes flicked toward the moon. "Because I was born in a world that made me a weapon before I knew how to love." That silence after his words? It was the beginning of the end. The war didn't stop. It raged on, louder, hungrier, swallowing villages, mountains, cities. The council suspected Elira was hiding something. She was distracted, distant, her movements strange. They didn't know she was sneaking into the Grayscale. They didn't know she was falling in love with the enemy. The day Elira returned from the Grayscale with Kael's name echoing in her chest, the city of Elendor was already burning. She could see the smoke long before she passed the gates, black plumes rising into the twilight sky like fingers of the dead. The capital was under siege again. Not by armies, but by its own fear. Riots. Panic. The people had grown tired of fighting wars they did not understand. Her father, the High King, was dying. The council was splintered. And the one thing they all agreed on? Elira had to marry. A political alliance. A prince from the southern coasts. A man she had never met. "You must secure the throne," her mother said, hands trembling as she handed Elira the engagement scroll. "You must protect our realm." Elira signed it with a hand that didn't feel like her own. That night, she stood alone in her chambers, staring at the full twin moons. One bright. One blood red. Her heart no longer beat with pride for the realm. It beat with a name she should not know. Kael. Far in the shadows of the Grayscale, Kael stood over a grave, shallow, unmarked. His brothers. Another life taken by the war. Another ghost that whispered in his ear. His people called him traitor. For sparing Elira. For leaving the fight. He didn't care. He had tasted something in her eyes, not just mercy, but the same emptiness that haunted him. The same hunger for something more than blades and commands. And so he began to write. Letters. Folded into pieces of black cloth. Left in hollow trees near the border. At first, he didn't know if she'd find them. But then one night he returned to the same place. And a letter was waiting for him. Written in her hand. There are things too dangerous to speak aloud in wartime. So Elira and Kael wrote. Each letter was a breath stolen from death. Each word a rebellion. Each moonlit message, left in the hollow of an old tree at the border, carried pieces of themselves across enemy lines. Kael's letter. Elira. The world says I should hate you. But when I close my eyes, all I see is your silence, the one that didn't scream when I held a blade to your throat. That silence is louder than war. They call me a ghost. A killer. I was all those things. Until you. Tell me, when they make you a queen, will you still remember the forest? Asterisk. Elira's reply. Kael. They've dressed me in silk and gold. My hands look clean, but I cannot wash off what I've done. I remember the forest. I remember your breath and your question. I bleed. And yes, I remember you. Asterisk. The letters became more than words. They became promises. They became hope. But hope is a dangerous thing in a world built on fear. One evening, as Elira prepared to send another message, she found her mother in her chambers holding the letter. Elira, her voice cracked. Do you know what they'll do to you for this? I love him, Elira whispered. Her mother slapped her. You love a weapon, she said. Not a man. The council was called. Her marriage was accelerated. She was forbidden from leaving the city. The border was sealed. Meanwhile, in the Shadowlands, Kael received no letter that week. Or the next. And then, he saw it. The tree was burned. The hollow charred. Their secret was no longer safe. He turned toward the realm of light. He would find her. Even if it meant walking into the lion's den. The city of Elendor was bathed in gold and crimson. Banners fluttered. Bells rang. From a distance, it looked like celebration. But beneath the silk and wine, the realm was cracking. Elira stood before a mirror, dressed in the gown of queens, layered white and silver, stitched with the sigils of peace. A veil rested on her shoulders like a funeral shroud. The wedding was today. She felt nothing. No joy. No fear. Just the hollow ache of a heart torn in two. She'd heard no word from Kael in weeks. No letters. No sign. She feared the worst. Perhaps he had been captured. Perhaps killed. Or worse, perhaps he had given up. But Kael had not given up. Kael crossed into the realm of light under the cloak of fog. Disguised as a traitor, he moved through the outskirts like a ghost, listening. Asking questions with coin and silence. And what he learned shattered him. The Princess of Light, the woman who had opened his soul, was to marry the son of Lord Relon, a cruel southern prince known more for blood than diplomacy. She would be caged. Used. Unless he stopped it. The Grand Hall of Elendor was packed with nobles and soldiers. Golden pillars rose high above, engraved with the history of the realm. Musicians played soft, empty tunes. Elira walked down the aisle like a queen walking to her own execution. The high priest raised the sacred binding cord. Do you swear to uphold the unity of the realm? Boom. The doors burst open. Gasps. Swords drawn. Panic. And then, silence. A man stood in the doorway, cloaked in black, his face shadowed but unmistakable. Kael, Elira whispered. Scene, the choice. The room was frozen. Step away from her, shouted one of the guards. Kael did not move. His eyes never left Elira. Do you want this? He asked her, voice raw, loud enough for all to hear. Say the word, and I walk away. She didn't speak. Tears welled in her eyes. Her lips trembled. Then she stepped off the altar. Her fingers undid the veil. And she ran into his arms. The room erupted. Guards surged forward. Kael drew steel. So did Elira. Together, back to back, they fought their way through the royal court, blades flashing in the firelight, two hearts against a kingdom. They ran through burning halls, down marble steps, past tapestries now aflame with truth. Kael and Elira, two fugitives from opposite worlds, disappeared into the night like ghosts freed from legend. The realm of light shattered in their wake. The council collapsed. Civil war broke. The prince she was to marry raised arms in vengeance, calling for Kael's head in Elira's exile. Across the grayscale, the Shadowlands rallied their assassins not to avenge Kael, but to silence him for betrayal. Two empires now hunted them both. They found shelter in the Wormwood, an ancient, lawless land beyond both kingdoms. There, where the trees whispered and the sky had no flag, they lived as no one. No royalty. No weapon. No war. Only Elira and Kael. And the small house they built from stone and silence. For a while, they were happy. She taught children from nearby villages how to read. He grew herbs and wrote poetry, terrible poetry, she teased. And sometimes, when the twin moons rose above the trees, they danced barefoot in the grass as if the world had never burned. But peace cannot outpace destiny. A child came, a daughter. Born with silver eyes and a glow beneath her skin. A girl of shadow and light. Word spread. They tried to stay hidden. But hope, like wildfire, always finds wind. Villagers spoke of the exiled lovers who had once defied kings and lived. Refugees sought them. Then rebels. Then armies. Within 3 years, a banner was raised, not of light, not of darkness, but of both, a circle split down the center, one half sun, one half moon. The people called it, the Union Flame. Final scene, the last stand. The army came, not to kill them, but to follow them. And so, on a hill between two nations, Elira and Kael stood once more. Not as fugitives. Not as lovers in hiding. But as symbols. Together, they faced the gathered world, kings, generals, and old ghosts, and spoke a single truth. We are not made of the realms we were born in. We are made of the choices we burn for. A peace was forged that day, fragile but real. The war ended not with a sword, but a kiss.